Welcome to my channel, The Human Frontier. I didn't believe the rumors. Not at first. Every station has its stories, whispers traded over cheap drinks and long nights. Stories about warlords who could shatter fleets, creatures that lived between stars, queens who ruled entire sectors with a single word. Most of them weren't real. Or at least, not real in the way people said. But her. She was different. Because when people talked about her, they lowered their voices. And they never stayed long. The woman no one named. My name is Kale Riven. Freelance pilot. Cargo runner. Professional nobody. I moved shipments between systems no one cared about, for clients who didn't ask questions and didn't want answers. It wasn't glamorous. But it kept me alive. And more importantly, it kept me out of trouble. Or at least, that's what I thought. The first time I heard about her, it was on a station called Virex 9. Not the kind of place you visit unless you have a reason. Or no other choice. I was sitting in the corner of a dim bar, halfway through a drink I didn't remember ordering, when I heard the name for the first time. She wiped out an entire fleet, someone whispered. No ships, another replied. No weapons. Just her. That's not possible. That's what they said, right before they vanished. I rolled my eyes slightly. Another story. Another myth. Another reason for bored spaces to feel important. I should have ignored it. I didn't. The job I should have refused. The offer came the next morning. Anonymous. High pay. Simple instructions. Pick up a passenger. No questions. Deliver to a set of coordinates far beyond any mapped route. I stared at the contract for a long time. Everything about it screamed danger. But the credits. Enough to keep me flying for years. One job, I muttered. That's all it was supposed to be. The pickup. The coordinates led me to a dead zone. No signals. No traffic. Nothing. Just a small docking platform drifting near the edge of a nebula. This is already a bad idea, I said to myself as I brought the ship in. The platform was empty. No guards. No ships. No sign of life. And then, she appeared. The most dangerous being I had ever seen. I didn't see her arrive. She was just there. Standing at the edge of the platform. Watching me. Even before she moved. I knew. This wasn't normal. This wasn't safe. This was exactly the kind of thing I should have avoided. She stepped forward slowly. And the moment she did, everything changed. The feeling. It wasn't fear. Not exactly. It was something deeper. Something instinctive. Like every part of me was screaming to run. And yet, I couldn't. Because something else held me there. Curiosity. Or maybe, something worse. She spoke my name. You are Kale Riven. Not a question. I swallowed. Depends who's asking. Her eyes locked onto mine. You will take me. That depends on where you're going. You already know. I didn't. But somehow, it felt like I did. Letting her on board was my first mistake. The moment she stepped onto my ship, it felt different. Quieter. Heavier. Like the air itself had changed. Passenger secured, I muttered, trying to keep my voice steady. But my hands. They weren't steady. Not even close. The silence between us. We didn't talk at first. She stood near the viewport, staring out at the endless stars. Like she wasn't seeing them. Like she was remembering something. I focused on the controls. On the route. On anything that wasn't her. You are afraid, she said suddenly. I let out a breath. Not afraid. Careful. You should be afraid. Yeah, I said quietly. I'm starting to think so. The truth about her. What are you? I asked. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she turned slightly, her gaze shifting toward me. I am what remains. That's not an answer. It is the only one you will receive. I didn't like that. But I didn't push. Because something told me I wouldn't like the real answer. The attack came without warning. We were halfway to the coordinates when it happened. 3 ships dropped out of hyperspace around us. Fast. Aggressive. Armed. Of course, I muttered. Do not engage, she said calmly. I wasn't planning to win a fight, I replied, already pushing the engines. But they were faster. Stronger. And they knew exactly where to hit. The moment I thought it was over. The first blast took out my shields. The second crippled my engines. We were dead in space within seconds. Great, I said. This is how I go. But she didn't move. Didn't panic. Didn't even seem concerned. Stay where you are, she said. Not really much of a choice. What I saw next changed everything. She stepped forward. Raised her hand. And the universe broke. Power beyond understanding. The attacking ships froze. Not slowed. Not disabled. Frozen. Like time itself had stopped. Energy flickered around them, twisting, collapsing inward. And then, they were gone. No explosion. No debris. Just gone. The silence that followed. I stared out at the empty space where they had been. What did you just do? She lowered her hand. They were a threat. That doesn't answer the question. She looked at me. And for the first time, I saw something in her expression. Something almost human. You are still alive, she said. That's not the point. The truth I didn't want. You've heard the stories, she said. I nodded slowly. Yeah. They are incomplete. Of course they are. I am not the weapon they believe me to be. I frowned. Then what are you? She stepped closer. Close enough that I could feel the energy around her. I am the consequence. The destination. We reached the coordinates hours later. A planet. Hidden. Untouched. No signals. No signs of life. This is where you wanted to go? I asked. Yes. Why? She looked at the surface. Because this is where it ends. The choice I didn't expect. You can leave, she said. I blinked. What? You have fulfilled your role. I looked at her. At everything that had just happened. At the power I didn't understand. At the danger I couldn't escape. Yeah, I said slowly. I don't think I can. Why she chose me? Why me? I asked. Why not someone else? She studied me for a long moment. Because you are not afraid of what you do not understand. That's not true. It is. I shook my head. I'm terrified. And yet, you stayed. The truth behind everything. This isn't just a ride, is it? I said. No. This is something bigger. Yes. And I'm part of it. Yes. I laughed softly. Of course I am. The ending that was only the beginning. We landed on that world together. Not as pilot and passenger. But as something else. Something I didn't have a name for yet. Because sometimes, the most dangerous thing in the universe isn't what destroys you. It's what changes you. And somehow, out of everyone she could have chosen, she chose me. And I still don't know why. But I'm about to find out. The End Rocket. Thank you for listening. Subscribe for more cinematic science fiction stories.